A Cub Scout from Colorado is heartbroken after he was kicked out of his den for asking the following question of State Senator Vicki Marble. Let's take a look.
Why on earth would you want somebody who beats their wife to have access to a gun? There's something wrong in our country where Republicans believe it's a right to own a gun, but a privilege to have health care.
I don't think any child should be banned from coming back for asking a tough question.
We know what you're thinking. This is a case of a parent scoring political points by using their kid as the messenger.
You know, I hit the printer button and helped him work out the printer, but no, it wasn't my agenda. There were kids who asked about fracking, about the border wall, about fossil fuels. In the mix of that, it didn't seem like gun control was that different.
So that was 11-year-old Ames Mayfield, and he is currently on the search for a new den. But the Boy Scouts of America have released the following statement saying the Boy Scouts of America and the Denver area council are pleased that the family will continue their participation in scouting. We are committed to working with families to find local units that best fit their needs. Now, I can't stress enough how special of a kid Ames Mayfield seems. He is incredibly smart, witty, a little precocious. I don't believe that this was the political agenda of the mom. Although when I heard the story initially, I fully believed that. I was like, nice job, parent, you're doing the project. But it seems like this is something that he has stayed informed on, that he's interested in. I think the question is so fair. Totally fair. It is really strange that it was indeed the pack leader that kicked out Ames, and I'm blurry on how that works. My brother was an Eagle Scout, but I totally blacked out for the entirety of when he was doing that. And so the pack leader is different than the den leader. The pack leader was the one that asked for, that said that Ames was no longer going to be a part of it, but now he's going to find a different den in Colorado. But this question is not an unfair question.
No, it's totally fair game, and his rationale behind it. By the way, Ames Mayfield, little rock star future journalist that he is the treasurer of his student government. This kid he's a prodigy. He's so smart. Just to prepare this list of questions, I was collecting Beanie Babies when I was his age. Like, I was pathetic.
I was stealing Girl Scout cookies. I wasn't even selling them. They wouldn't even let me.
I was probably chowing down on some samosas.
Mimosas. You were chowing down on some mimosas.
Wow, then you were
precocious. My parents were hippies. They were really cool. No, but it was totally fair game because he researched this state senator and saw that that the Second Amendment was a huge part of her platform, and so he thought that that would be a good opportunity to ask her. And also, I mean, let's not forget about the tragedy that happened in Las Vegas, just a short while ago. This was weighing on this kid's mind, and I think it was actually very sensitive and poignant of him to bring up these questions.
Now, Simone makes a great point about you got to look at the context of this question, and that is that it's the shadow of Las Vegas was hanging over this, and also the other context that's important is the context of what was going on in the den meeting, or whatever it's called, when they're asking all these other questions that are about fracking and about the list of issues that are all associated with things that are making headlines now. So these are all fair questions, and then default to the fact that this is an outspoken legislator when it comes to Second Amendment rights, and it's a completely appropriate question. It's sad, to use the Trump in caps with the exclamation mark, it's sad to me that the Boy Scouts of America issue that ridiculously lame statement where they say nothing, and we hope to, it's like Match.com, we hope to have this Cub Scout can end up with the appropriate den. Like what, where they don't talk about this kind of thing, or they bring in legislators and you're not allowed to have a dialogue with them?
Yeah, it just seems like you're punishing a kid for doing his research, because what he did point out that Senator Vicki Marble did correlate something about Black Americans having poor health because of barbecue chicken, and he called her out on that. So the gun control question is the one that is getting the headlines right now, but he really did his research on who the senator was that was going to be visiting with the troop and asked her questions based on her own record. Why are we punishing him? Again, like you said, it's just a little prodigy journalist. That's more research than a lot of people do.
Yeah, I mean, and that question about health and poverty in Black communities, I think what this kid was trying to get clarification on is, okay, we're talking about personal decisions that people are making about their health, what they choose to eat, but we're ignoring the discrimination that is rampant in the healthcare system and how that is linked to higher rates of hypertension and high blood pressure. We're ignoring how the infant mortality rate for Black babies is much higher in segregated cities across America. And I don't know that that Miss Marble answered that.
Seems like she lost her marbles. I'm so sorry. All right,
let me say one last thing about this Cub Scout thing, because you could have gone the other way and it would have been so great for the Boy Scouts of America and the Cub Scouts. You could have celebrated this conversation and said, yeah, you know, this is, guys, wait a minute, if there were jeers or boos, this is what we're about. We've got to be tolerant of a real conversation that accepts all of these different viewpoints. You could really, in this community that is probably quite repressed as far as this is concerned, you could really be on the cutting edge of a real conversation about these issues.
And setting an example for the rest of the country. Look, this is an 11-year-old boy and a state senator having a more civil discourse than it seems we often have as adults in the country. What a good example that we can try and emulate, but that's
here.
Exactly. I would applaud this kid whether he asked a Democrat or a Republican tough questions, just to have the courage at that age to be able to do that. And then on the heels of the very political speech that the president made at the Boy Scouts Jamboree, Boy Scouts issued this statement saying that we are a nonpartisan organization, but then why isn't this kid allowed to stay in his den?
Snaps for you, Simone, 100%.
Watch the Young Turks commercial-free, download it or stream it, watch it any way you like at tytnetwork.com/join.